Hey, what is going on, you cringe crawdad? So the next two main sets over in Japan have been fully revealed, Snow Hazard and Clay Burst. I'll be getting those two sets next week on Friday, on April 14th. Maybe reviewing some of the early lists that we see get cooked up over in Japan. In about a week and a half, I am going to EUIC in London this weekend. So this is going to be the last YouTube video for about a week, maybe a week and a half until I get back from London, and I'll get back onto the content grind with making YouTube videos and streaming. So this will be the last YouTube video here, or last video on YouTube here for a little while. But if you do catch me in London, if you are going to EUIC and you want to say what's up or whatever, be sure to say what's up if you do see me walking around the venue. So we'll be getting these two sets in our next main set, Paldea Evolved, on June 9th. So we're a little bit ways out from our set. We still got lots of cook up here with the first set of Scarlet and Violet, so I'm not too worried about that. And then we'll also get the triple beat cards. And I've reviewed some of these cards already. Some of them I haven't even read yet. So we're going to go through everything here. All of Snow Hazard, all of Clay Burst. Let's just go ahead and just jump right into it. And I think the first card we're going to be taking a look at here, I'm going to scroll down a little ways, is the Abomasnow, which has a pretty cool ability. Damage can't be healed from any Pokemon, both yours and your opponent's. We haven't seen a card like this in quite a while. There is Dynatree Hill as a stadium card right now, but stadium cards aren't very good at preventing your opponent from doing stuff. Usually stadium cards, the stadium cards, kind of stadium cards you want to play are the ones that allow you to do something immediately on your turn, like Mesagoza, Training Court, Beach Court. You can take advantage of all those stadium cards immediately on your turn, because who knows if going into your opponent's next turn, if the stadium's going to stick around. So yeah, some anti-heal card here on Abomasnow. It's cool to see. I don't think we've seen a card like this in quite a while, if ever, where it's like a stage 1 with an ability where you just can't heal. So definitely hype for a card like this. I always like abilities on like stage 1 Pokemon that just are cool or interesting and like have some potential. I don't think it's going to be like a ridiculously broken card or anything, but it could find its way into the right deck in a meta where a lot of people are trying to heal a little bit too much for whatever your playing's liking. We're finally seeing the Wuchien EX, which is like the last of the, I don't even know what these Pokemon are called, but we've seen all the other ones up to this point. This one seems like the worst of them so far, except for maybe the fire one. But for Grass, Colorless, oh wait, the fire one's not actually one of the, whatever kind of mythical Pokemon this is. I don't play the video games. Grass, Colorless, Devouring Vines, attack to 60 damage to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon for each prize card your opponent's taken. So you could hit pretty hard theoretically with that. You can hit for 300 damage if they've taken 5 prize cards. So potentially a good closer here. The Wuchien is. It only is bench Pokemon though, so you do have stuff like Escape Rope or Boss where you could force potentially the real threat or the thing you want to knock out that would be in the active Pokemon to the bench and then take a KO on it. And then for Grass, Colorless, you're doing 220 damage. So the second attack is pretty much awful, to be honest. 220 for 4 energy, 3 grass energy is not great. But the Devoured Vine, I definitely could see being a pretty good closing attack. 230 HP, and basic Pokemon. There's another Pokemon that we'll take a look at here in a second that does combo fairly well with it. So we'll take a look at that. I've already talked about the Baxcalibur before, but I'll go over it once again. Stage 2, 160 HP. Absolute zero. As often as like during your turn, you may attach a basic water energy from your hand to one of your Pokemon. So pretty powerful ability. We've seen it before. Effectively is the Rain Dance or whatever you call it that we always see on Blastoise. And obviously is going to combo really well with Chien-Pao EX. Once again, talked about this one before as well, but we'll go over it one more time. Basic 220 HP. Ability Trembling Cold. Once your turn, if this Pokemon is your active Pokemon, you may search deck for up to 2 basic water energy. Reveal them, put them to your hand, then shuffle your deck. So theoretically, you could have like 2 or 3 of these in play, switch between them all, get a bunch of water energy in your hand, then use Baxcalibur to accelerate all the water energy into play. And then the attack from the Chien-Pao is water, 60 damage. Discard any amount of water energy from your Pokemon's attack to 60 damage for each card you discard in this way. And when I first read this, I was like, oh, this is really cool. Seems like it could be a pretty solid deck. But Chien-Pao plus Baxcalibur is kind of just like another beat stick type deck that we've kind of seen in the past and even have in the current format. Stuff like the Zoroark V-Star or currently Miraidon EX. And I think Miraidon EX does it a little bit better than Chien-Pao because you can like turn 1 attack with Miraidon, whereas Chien-Pao you kind of have to wait a turn to get the Baxcalibur in play. So currently I was kind of hyped for this combo, but the more I kind of have thought about it and see how the current meta is playing around Miraidon EX, I think Chien-Pao is probably not going to be great as a deck. Like Chien-Pao plus Baxcalibur, it's not gonna be great. Just like a deck that is really good at one-hit KOing Pokemon over and over as like a pretty low HP 2-prize Pokemon. It's just not that good right now because I don't think Miraidon's that good right now. I've seen like that kind of problem come up with Miraidon. We've seen it in the past with like something like a Zoroark V-Star. So definitely not sold on Chien-Pao Baxcalibur, but I think Baxcalibur possibly could combo with other Pokemon, and that could be a better, stronger combo over the Chien-Pao, like 1 prizes or something like that. But I think Chien-Pao Baxcalibur, not going to be great. I'm not going to lie. That combo specifically. New EX, haven't talked about this one before. We got the Slow King EX, 270 HP, stage 1. Does have the Terrastall, whatever, can't be damaged, disappointment effect. Profound Knowledge, 30 damage for a Psychic. Your opponent's active is now confused. And then for Psychic, 130, may search your deck for up to any 2 cards and put them into your hand. If you do shuffle your deck, only 130 damage. You do get any 2 cards, but are those any 2 cards going to be enough? That's going to be the question. I don't think so. Does evolve from the Slowpoke. So you could do something weird with that Slowbro that came out that moves damage off of your Pokemon to itself and then possibly heal it. So you could kind of make like a Slow King EX tank type deck. You attack, you set up, you know, whatever you need in your hand to make sure you're healing turn to turn. I could see something like that being decent. Definitely not sold on it, but could be cool maybe. Just 130 damage is so low. So you have to like keep these things alive or you have to be setting up towards something bigger, but what deck could afford to play a stage 1 that takes 2 basic psychic energy to set up for something bigger? I don't think anything really could. So I think this deck would have to be built around some kind of tank Slow King type deck where, you know, Wisdom Headbutt kind of consistently finds you those cards to keep your Slow Kings around not getting KO'd. I could see something like that possibly being good. We'll see. Gothitelle, cool control card potentially. It is a stage 2, but the ability Astrology. Once during your turn, you may look at the top 2 cards of your deck, of your opponent's deck, I'm sorry. If you do, put one of those cards back on top of their deck and the other one on the bottom of their deck. So we've seen cards like this similar in the past where they kind of control your opponent's top deck turn to turn. So if you're able to handlock your opponent and then control their top deck turn after turn, it's possible you can leave your opponent in a situation where they never draw the cards they need to get out of the current situation you put them in, whether that be trapping something in the active with like block Snorlax or saying they can't retreat with a different Pokemon and then constantly controlling their top deck. But that isn't actually like an active win condition. Unless your opponent's decking out first, then I guess it could be. But you'd also probably want to combo with this with some kind of mill card. I don't even know how you would make that work though. So top deck control from the Gothitelle, but I don't think we quite have the cards in the format yet to be able to make that work. Really powerful card in the Mimikyu here. Only 70 HP, but it's got that safeguard ability. We've seen it before. We're seeing it again. I actually really like cards like this because I think it forces people to build their decks honestly, if that makes sense. Like, you can't just build your deck in a way where you'll never have the out to a safeguard ability. And of course, this one prevents all damage from attacks from your opponent's Pokemon EX and V Pokemon. And then for a second colors, put 7 damage counters on your opponent's active Pokemon. So pretty aggressive, like it's pretty reasonable for an attack, to be honest, on a Pokemon like this. Only 70 HP, so if you have even something that could just like poison the Mimikyu, I think the Mimikyu might be in a little bit of trouble. But I actually do really like cards like the Miltank, Decidueye, now the Mimikyu. It kind of makes it so you have to like build your decks honestly, if that makes sense. You gotta respect these kind of cards from time to time, not all the time. And of course, when there's stuff like Lost Box running around, it's hard for these cards to really shine when, yeah, Lost Box has tons of answers to cards like a Mimikyu. But it's cool to have cards like that in the format for sure. That force you to build your deck a little bit more honestly now and then. Annihilate EX, 320 HP, so a ton of HP on this one. Stage 2, for 1 fighting energy, you put up to 12 damage counters on this Pokemon, and then you do 20 damage for each damage counter you placed on the Pokemon. So that's not great, to be honest. If you're damaging yourself, putting yourself in like 2-hit KO range to get a KO, not a great trade-off. But for just a fighting in a colors, you are doing 150 damage, and you have 320 HP. So that's a lot of HP, and 150 damage is nothing to scoff at. That basically 2-hit KOs most things in the format. So I wonder if there could be some kind of combo there, where you just kind of try and keep your Annihilate EX around as long as possible through stuff like Cheryl. You would need some kind of form of energy acceleration to go with it. I don't know. It's a lot of HP. 150 isn't the worst amount of damage, and then Angry Grudge is kind of whatever. You're also weak to Psychic, so as long as Gardevoir is good, Annihilate will probably be bad. So pretty mid EX overall, but I see some potential. Glimora, stage 1, 130 HP. Crystal Break ability. This is definitely going to be a meme deck. When this Pokemon is knocked out, flip a coin. If heads, your opponent can't take any prize cards for it. So definitely going to be a meme deck. And then for 1 fighting energy, your opponent's active Pokemon is now poisoned, and then during Pokemon checkup, you put 6 damage counters on that Pokemon instead of 1. And we do still have that Radiant Sneasler, so you can be up to 8 damage counters in between turns. I think we might have some other stuff that combos with poison right now as well. There's like the Muck that says your opponent, when they evolve, they don't remove poison, I believe. So there's some cards that you can definitely put with this thing and actually really rack up that poison damage. So I think it's a pretty cool card. Definitely going to be a nice meme deck. Who knows? Maybe it's better than I think, you know? That's a lot of damage in between turns. At least 8 with the Radiant Sneasler. Maybe you get the Muck involved. I'm not too sold on that. But then if you get a couple of heads, I mean, your opponent's not drawing any prize cards. That's like pretty good. And then you just like use a Clara to recover, you know, the basic, the stage 1 and the energy for the attack. Like you can kind of just Clara chain these out and turn after turn after turn, just keep poisoning and flipping heads. So great meme deck. But I think that probably is all it'll amount to. We'll see though. It would be cool if it was a little bit more than just that. Copperajah EX, 300 HP. Once again, a lot of HP, and that gets even bigger with its ability Bronze Body. It is a stage 1. It takes 30 less damage from attack, so effectively 330 HP, pretty much. Metal Colorless, 260. This attack also does 30 damage to each of your bench Pokemon, so that hurts. Doing 30 damage to each of your bench Pokemon does hurt, and Manaphy will not protect from that damage. Manaphy only protects from your opponent's attack. So Copperajah is going to be hurting you with that 30 damage, but of course its ability will protect itself. So if you've got like 2 or 3 Copperajah EX set up, they will protect themselves from your active Copperajah's attack. And we do still have Metal Saucer, stuff like that. So I could see, oh wait, no, I think Metal Saucer actually rotated. I actually don't remember. No, Metal Saucer definitely rotated. I'm 100% trolling. Metal Saucer is rotated. We don't have Metal Saucer, so setting that thing up as well might be pretty difficult at Metal Colorless, but it's definitely possible. We got like Magnezone and stuff. All right, Orthworm, 130 HP, basic Pokemon. If the Pokemon has 3 or more Metal Energy attached to it, you get plus 100 HP. 230 HP on a basic Pokemon is pretty good. However, the attack is pretty underwhelming. For 4 Colorless Energy, you do 100 damage and then 30 damage to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon. Of course, the 30 damage, Manaphy super popular everywhere, stuff like that. So, yeah, I went ahead just and checked to make sure. I was like, I'm pretty sure, yeah, Metal Saucer is rotated. So, Copperajah, setting it up will be a little bit more difficult than I had initially thought. But we do have some weird Pokemon that could work pretty well with it, to be honest. And actually, one of them we'll be talking about here in just a second. Moving along to the Dunsparce. Now, at first glance, this Pokemon probably doesn't seem great, but actually, it could be pretty ridiculously strong. 140 HP. It is a stage 1. Takes 4 Colorless Energy to attack, though. That's a lot. Sudden Flash. 100 damage. Your opponent's active is now paralyzed. Shuffle this Pokemon all cards attached to it into your deck. So you gotta get 4 energy on it. You have to evolve to a stage 1. And then on top of all that, you shuffle it back to the deck as soon as you attack. Your opponent's Pokemon is paralyzed, though. As far as the colorless energy cost goes, we do still have Lugia and Archeops in the format. And a really cool combo you could actually set up with this deck is because of Double Turbo Energy, and Double Turbo Energy reducing the damage you deal alongside Medicham, you could actually use Dunsparce to paralyze your opponent's active Pokemon, and then use Medicham to Yoga Loop your opponent's Pokemon, and knock out, use Yoga Loop to knock out your opponent's Pokemon after you've successfully set up the sudden flash damage to guarantee trap your opponent's active. So really cool potential combo there, because you can put the Double Turbo Energy on the Dunsparce, which reduces the damage you deal by 20, which is actually a good thing in this instance, because then you can line up the damage perfectly to lead into a Medicham Yoga Loop, and then repeat the process over and over while you're attacking with the Dunsparces. So that could be a pretty cool deck, I'm not gonna lie. Lugia, Archeops, the Dunsparce, Medicham, probably a meme deck, but it would be pretty cool. Probably not beating Lost Box. That's always gonna be a big problem. We got the Pelipper, 120 HP, stage 1, Wind Letter. When you play this Pokemon from your hand to evolve one of your Pokemon during your turn, you may either search your deck for a supporter card, reveal and put it in your hand, or and shuffle your deck, or put a supporter card from your discard pile into your hand. So from the deck or the discard pile, stage 1. We've seen a couple cards like this already. There's the Banette that lost zones itself, I believe, when you use its ability to get a supporter out of your discard pile. And then we also have the Meowstic, that when it evolves, searches your deck for 2 supporter cards. Now, this one is a little bit more versatile because it can come from the deck or the discard pile. But we haven't seen either of those see any play, so I don't think we're going to see the Pelipper see any play as well. I think maybe once another rotation hits, cards like this could become powerful. But as of right now, I think this kind of stuff is a little bit too slow. And if you're going to be playing a stage 1 pseudo engine card, you may as well just play an engine card and play like a B-Barrel or a Revaroom or something like that. So I do not think it's going to see very much play. Squawkabilly, 160 HP. Already talked about this one as well, but we'll go through it again. Lively Draw. On your first turn of the game, you may discard your hand and draw 6 cards. You can't use more than 1 Lively Draw ability during your turn. And then for 1 colorless energy, put 2 basic energy from your discard pile to one of your Pokemon. So this is something that you could maybe combo with that Copperajah EX. You go second, or even if you go first on turn 2, use the energy flow. You'll get the extra bit of setup through the Lively Draw. One thing really interesting about the Lively Draw, compared to a lot of the other draw 2-prize support Pokemon we've seen in the past, is Lively Draw. It doesn't have to be used when you play it from your hand. So you can like Nest Ball for Squawkabilly, play Research, and then use Lively Draw afterwards, which I think is like intended because we only really have a basic search through Nest Ball and Ultra Ball. We don't have Quick Ball anymore, so being able to just use it off the board is pretty cool. It makes it pretty powerful for sure. We got the Super Rod reprint, shuffling in a combination of 3 Pokemon or basic energy from your discard pile into your deck. Not the most powerful Pokemon recover card we've ever seen, but an aggressive one that we are definitely lacking right now in the current format, because we only have supporter recovery right now. But I think Ordinary Rod and Rescue Stretcher were more powerful. I think Super Rod is a good balance as far as a Pokemon recovery card. So if they are bringing an aggressive item Pokemon recovery card back, I am kind of glad it's Super Rod and not Rescue Stretcher or Ordinary Rod. Motivational Lemonade. If you can only use this card if you have more prize cards remaining than your opponent. Heals 60 damage from one of your Pokemon, so potentially could be a pretty good card in Gardevoir to get your Gardevoirs attacking for that much more damage. Possibility. Garusha. Draw cards until you have 5 cards in your hand. If you do have no energy cards attached to any of your Pokemon, draw 7 cards instead. So shuffle, draw 7 if you have no energy in play. This could be pretty powerful alongside the Jianpao combo. Like I said, that deck's probably not even that good to begin with, but shuffle, draw 7 is really powerful. So if you can find a deck to play this card in, yeah, shuffle, draw 7 is kind of insane. Usually you're going to want to be able to put energy in play, so it's not going to combo too well with too much. Gaiakomo. This card is special energy from each of your opponent's Pokemon. Pretty good against Mew, I would think, but besides that, not even that good against Lugia, because Lugia has like 1 attacker set up with energy, and that's kind of it. So we'll see. Snow Mountain of Disaster. Whenever a player attaches an energy from their hand to one of their basic non-water Pokemon, put 2 damage counters on that Pokemon. So quite a few decks play quite a few stadiums right now, and this is once again one of those passive stadiums where you're like kind of putting it in play, not getting an immediate effect out of it, unless you're trying to abuse it yourself, which I guess I could see you potentially doing. I don't know. Off the top of my head, I can't think of what Pokemon I'd want to play this with, combo this with, where I want to damage my own Pokemon. Maybe the Drifloon, but you already have that comboed with Guardy to make it be able to get 1-hit KOs on stuff, so probably not. Yeah, so I'm not really sure. Not too sure what you're comboing Snow Mountain of Disaster with right now. And then as like a passive stadium where you kind of put it in play to hope your opponent attaches an energy and then takes damage. It has to be to a basic Pokemon specifically. I just don't think it's going to be a very good stadium at all. Big card here, and this is kind of tying into when Pokemon kind of talked about, you know, Scarlet and Violet. One of the themes of it is going to be making comebacks. Comebacks are going to be a big part of it. Reversal energy. While attached to a Pokemon, this provides 1 colorless energy. If you have more prize cards remaining than your opponent, and this card is attached to an evolution Pokemon that doesn't have a rule box, it provides 3 energy of any type instead. That is powerful. And specifically, the first deck that kind of came to mind that you could play this with is Wugtrio. Wugtrio's attack costs 3 colorless energy, and then you flip a coin flip 3 coins for each heads, mill the top 3 cards of your opponent's deck. So the first card I thought of with this, the first deck I thought of with this card was Wugtrio, but I'm sure there's some other crazy combos and decks you can combo this with to make some comeback to some stage 2 or even stage 1 Pokemon. Of course, non-rule box Pokemon, so it can't be attached to the EXs or the V Pokemon, but that's not a bad thing, I don't think. And it'd be really cool to see what you can kind of make work with this, especially with some of the other comeback cards that are going to be coming out in this set. So super excited for this card. I think this is really going to bring back non-V, non-EX cards and make them viable, besides Lost Box, of course, but Lost Box is just kind of built different, and it's not really fair. Fortress EX this is the card I was talking about that you could combo with Wuqian. Is that how you pronounce it? I don't actually know if that's how you pronounce it. 270 HP, stage 1 Pokemon. The ability Explosive Energy. Once in your turn, you may search your deck for up to 5 basic grass energy cards and attach them to your Pokemon in any way you like. Then shuffle your deck. If you search your deck in this way, this Pokemon is knocked out. So your opponent will be drawing 2 prize cards, which does combo with Wuqian's first attack, where it does 60 for each prize card your opponent's taken. And then you can also get like that 4 grass energy on it, so it can actually use that 220 turn 2, which does KO most EXs and V Pokemon. I think you'd want to play some other grass attackers with this, though. I don't think you're going to go all in on Wuqian. Maybe that would be a closer or an early game attacker for that 220, but then you'd want to definitely combo this with something else. And then it has the attack guard press for 120 during your opponent's next turn as the Pokemon takes 30 less damage from attack. So the attack's not great. It really is just there for the ability to set up other Pokemon. We've got that Chi-Yu EX. We talked about this one before as well, but we'll go over it again. 190, Burning Envy, discard 2 cards from the top of your opponent's deck. At first I looked at it, I was like, ooh, potential for a mill deck. Not really. Fire 100, choose up to 3 of your benched Pokemon. Search your deck for a basic fire energy and attach it to one of each of those Pokemon. So that's like a really powerful energy acceleration attack, but it's a 2 prize with 190 HP and it only does 100 damage on that attack. This one I'm kind of up in the air about, because that's like a lot of energy you're accelerating into play, but the trade-off is you're leaving a very low HP 2 prize Pokemon active. So I'm not sold on this being good as like an early setup Pokemon, but I think it has potential. Got this pretty cool Lux right here that has 150 HP. Once your turn, if this card is in your hand and you have more prize cards remaining than your opponent, you may put this card onto your bench. So stage 2, that can literally just be put onto your bench as long as your opponent has more prize cards remaining than you, or if you have more prize cards remaining than your opponent. And then for Lightning Colorless, 180, this Pokemon does 20 damage to itself. So the 20 to yourself is kind of whatever. You only got 150 HP. You're getting knocked out by most things. 180 is like 2-hit KOing almost everything, but not 1-hit KOing basic EXs and Vs. I don't know about this one. It does combo with that triple energy that we just took a look at as well. So you can like put it down. You're behind on prize cards, so you can put it into play. You're behind on prize cards, so it becomes a triple energy. You attach a triple energy. Actually, it says it's an evolution Pokemon. Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and read this real fast before I get corrected in the comment section. To an evolution Pokemon, yeah. So it is an evolution Pokemon. It's just not an evolved Pokemon because it's going straight to the bench, so it did not evolve during the game. But it is an evolution Pokemon, so you could do that combo. For 180 damage, though, I don't know if that's good enough. I don't think it is. Do not think it is. All right, we got the Belly Bolt EX 280. Everyone's a big fan of the Belly Bolt. Got that Jump Press for double colorless. So the attack does 50 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon. Hit him anywhere. Lightning colorless 160. You may discard 2 lightning energy from this Pokemon. If you do, your opponent's active is now paralyzed. So this could be okay with like a Flaffy combo maybe, or maybe you just play it with. You probably need Flaffy to constantly keep this attack rolling. I don't think Electricity Generator is going to be enough, but 160 2-hit KOs pretty much everything in the format. And if they whiff a turn of attacking because you paralyze them, I don't know, that's a pretty good trade-off, I think. This could be pretty good, to be honest. Maybe just sitting there and paralyzing over and over again is enough. 280 HP is quite a bit as well. You are weak to fighting, which isn't a great weakness to have, but like fighting decks in general in the format aren't that powerful. So, Belly Bolt, I kind of like the Belly Bolt. I think there's some potential there for sure. All right, we got the Wigglytuff 110 HP stage 1 Balloon Therapy. Once in your turn, you may attach a Therapy Energy from your hand to one of your Pokemon. So interesting type of energy acceleration. Therapy Energy is a new special energy we'll take a look at here towards the end of the end of this set. Spiritomb, 60 HP basic, and this they just really hate Mew VMAX apparently. Pitch Black Doom ability. As long as this Pokemon is in play, basic Pokemon V have no abilities, and that's Genesect V having no ability. So literally turn 1, you can just bench your Spiritomb and be like, go ahead. And the Mew player is going to be like, okay, draw, okay, go ahead. And then you just win the game. So interesting. Hopefully this is a little bit more powerful against other stuff besides just Mew, and it's not just another Mew hate card. We got Drapion, we got Mighty Anna. Did we need Spiritomb? I don't think so. Hopefully it's good against other stuff. Klefki kind of already does this as well. Klefki is already super powerful against Mew. For the same reason, Klefki shuts off the basic Pokemon abilities. Of course, to play safely around Escape Rope, you do need 2 Klefki in play, whereas Spiritomb you just need to put it on the bench. You don't even need to put it in the active. It just needs to exist in play. Whereas Klefki, you got to get it, got to get in the active. If they have Escape Rope, Boss, Double Cross Switch, or whatever, they can get out of it that turn, and then from there, the Klefki probably is not something you want to be pushing your active anymore, and your opponents can probably, like, you know, be set up enough to the point where they'll be able to just knock it out if you do push it up. So Spiritomb definitely stronger than Klefki for shutting down Mew. And then for a Colorless Energy 10 damage, put this Pokemon and all cards attached to it into your hand. So can create some bench space there, I guess, if you want to at some point by putting it back in your hand. All right, we got the Tinkaton EX. Now there is another stage 2 Tinkaton that has like a, what is it? The ability says discard a card, draw 3 cards, so could combo both these Tinkatons together. Of course, it is kind of hard to make 2 different stage 2s work off of one set of basics and stage 1s, but it's not impossible. 300 HP, that's a lot of HP first off. Humongous Hammer Colorless. His attack does 30 damage times the number of cards in your hand, so obviously that combos with the other Tinkaton, which has the ability to discard a card, draw 3. And then Pulverizing Press. Psychic Colorless 140. This attack isn't affected by any effects on your opponent's active Pokemon, so got a Shred attack on there as well. Cool EX card, but I don't think it's going to be great, especially because you're going to have to get, like, I don't know, you're going to try and set up 2 of the ones that it's going to be too much. It's just too much. All right, we got the Ting-Lu, 240 basic ground or cursed ground. If this Pokemon is your active Pokemon, your opponent's Pokemon with damage counters on them have no abilities, excluding Pokemon EX, though. That's a pretty big deal. The Pokemon EX will still have abilities. And then for fighting, 150, put 2 damage counters on one of your opponent's benched Pokemon. Put 2 damage counters to one of your opponent's benched Pokemon. You can also combo this with Hawlucha for like some early ability shutdown as well. Use Hawlucha, ping a couple things, and then, you know, get the Ting-Lu in the active. This does kind of play as if Ting-Lu is going to have to be in your active at all points around this deck, which I think for only doing 150 damage for triple fighting energy is going to be hard to make work. Maybe some kind of hit and run shenanigans. I mean, this would also combo well with the new Alakazam EX coming out, and the Alakazam EX attacks from the bench. So you could have like Ting-Lu in your active, attack with Alakazam from the bench. Could be a combo there. I could see that. Got the Weavile with the Hunt Assault. Once during your turn, when this Pokemon moves from your bench to your active spot, you may switch one of your opponent's benched basic Pokemon to the active spot. But only basic. That's the thing here. So I don't think we've ever seen an ability like this, where it basically just is a guaranteed gust. Not on anything, just basic Pokemon. I don't think we've ever seen anything like that where it's a kind of a constant. We've seen things that when they evolve, the turn they evolve, like Bright Look, it brings up a Pokemon from the bench to the active, but I don't think we've ever seen something that can like constantly do it turn after turn. Of course, that is only when the Weavile goes from the bench to the active, so you'd have to like retreat to the Weavile and then switch the Weavile out of the active to attack with something else, I assume, because I don't think we're going to be using the Slashing Claws for a Dark and a Colorless to only do 70 damage, so it'll be a little bit hard to pull off consistently, and it's another one of those stage ones that seems like it'll probably just not be good, although it is cool to see another take on a kind of pseudo gust ability. We got the Noivern EX, 260 HP, Colorless, 70 damage during your opponent's next turn. Prevent all damage done to this Pokemon by attacks from basic Pokemon. A lot of evolutions out right now, so I don't think that attack's gonna be doing too much. And then we got for the Psychic and the Dark 140 during your opponent's next turn. You can't play any special energy or stadiums from their hand. So we're seeing the good old Chaos Wheel. We've seen it in the past on the Giratina EX. Last time we saw it, what was the last time we saw this attack? I think it was on Noivern. Actually, I think it was on a different Noivern. Now we're seeing it again on Noivern. Yeah, it was on Noivern. Seen it again on Noivern. I think the meta's just too versatile right now for this card to be good. I would love to be wrong, but once again, it seems like a pretty meh niche EX that probably won't see too much competitive play. We got the Flamigo with the Flock together. Once in your turn, when you play this Pokemon from your hand onto your bench, you may search your deck for up to 3 Flamigo and put them into your hand. And then it's got this attack Wings of Union for 20 damage times the number of Pokemon in your discard pile that have the Wings of Union attack. So Night March is back, Lost March is back, Mad Party is back, whatever. Decks like that back in the form of Wings of Union. And there's a couple different Pokemon that have the Wings of Union attack. Well, I think we passed them up a little bit. I think there's only 3 of them right now. So you're not hitting for too much. You're basically 2-hit KOing everything with no potential for 1-hit KOs aggressively on like turn 2 on like the EXs and V Pokemon. So doesn't seem great. But if we get a couple more maybe Wings of Union attackers, maybe it can ramp up to the point where it actually becomes a potential real threat in the meta. Delivery Drone, this could be played in like a really aggressive deck potentially. Flip 2 coins at both our heads, search your deck for any 1 card and put it into your hand. If you do, then shuffle your deck. So that's like a pretty bad trade of resources. You're basically just burning a card, and the chance that you get something out of your deck is pretty low to like not happening. Something even like the Pickaxe is probably better, where it's just like play the card, draw a card, or Trek and Choose is also probably better. So Delivery Drone, meh. You'd have to be playing a really aggressive deck to want to play this over. I mean, I don't know if you'd ever play this over Trek and Choose, to be honest. Maybe alongside Trek and Choose. But you have to be playing a ridiculously aggressive deck for this card to ever see play, I'm pretty sure. I don't think you're ever playing this. Charm of Courage, plus 50 HP to your basic Pokemon. I like to see this one coming back. I like Cape of Toughness. Felt like a good card. This also feels like a good card. Heal 50 damage from 2 of your Pokemon. Interesting heal card. Another heal card to kind of add to the bunch. Not sure if I think this is really good or just whatever. It seems okay. And then Iona, we've talked about this one a bunch already, or I have. A huge fan of this one. Each player shuffles their hand and puts it on the bottom of their deck. Then each player draws a card for each of their remaining prize cards. Super stoked for more comeback cards like Ono in the format. Not going to say too much on this one. I've already kind of ranted a little bit on this one in a previous video. I talked about it a bunch. Wilderness of Disaster, the routine cost of each basic Pokemon, except fighting Pokemon, is colorless more. Meh. It kind of works with Spite Ops EX, but Spite Ops EX isn't good, and this is only for basic Pokemon. So once your opponent evolves, like, yeah, this doesn't seem very good at all. Maybe in some kind of this kind of card is always sometimes good in like control decks, like we've seen. Was that Team Aqua Stadium in the past that increases Galar Mine as well? So in control decks, this is a control card. I think that's what we're looking at as far as this card goes. It's a kind of control card. See it in some control decks, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. Therapy Energy. As long as this card is attached to a Pokemon, it provides colorless energy. So this is the Therapy Energy that combos with the Wigglytuff that we just looked at earlier. Interesting form of energy acceleration. Be cool to see if the Wigglytuff actually ends up seeing play. Because some decks are just a little bit short on just like not getting quite enough energy in play if they whiff an attachment for turn or something like that. So maybe the Wigglytuff Therapy Energy will be the boost some decks need to just become viable. The Pokemon this card is attached to can't be asleep, confused, or paralyzed. If it is affected by one of those conditions, it recovers from that condition. So no sleep, no confused, no paralyzed. If you didn't know, you can only be one of those at a time. Not like a ridiculously powerful effect on energy, but the combo here really is coming from the Wigglytuff plus this. And I guess you could see this as like a one of in Lugia decks to remove, you know, paralysis or sleep or confusion. So this could always find its way into Lugia decks. It's like a one of, maybe a two of, but probably just a one of for those really unique situations that potentially could struggle with. And that's gonna do it. That's all the cards from Clay Burst. And was it Snow Blizzard? I think I'm like butchering that name. I don't think it is Snow Blizzard. What is it called? Snow Hazard and Clay Burst. We're gonna be getting these cards in June. Japan is getting them next week, so definitely interested to see what they cook up. Like I said, I might be taking a look at some of their listing, reviewing some of them here on the YouTube channel in a couple weeks from now. But yeah, excited for some of these cards for us in June. And of course, we also get the Triple Beat set as well. We're not guaranteed to get all the cards, I guess, from both these sets plus Triple Beat, but hopefully we do. How does that usually work? We don't always get all the cards. Sometimes we have to like wait a while to get all the cards, but hopefully we do. And that's gonna do it for this YouTube video. I'll catch y'all in a couple days. By the time this is uploading, I'm gonna be in London already for EUIC. And once again, if you're there at EUIC and you want to say what's up, sure, say what's up. Catch y'all on the next one. Peace.